Movie reviewer. This is Challenges from 2024, directed by Luca Guadagnino. Justin Curtiz wrote the script. The cast: Art Donaldson plays Mike Feist. Joe O'Connor is Patrick Zwick, and Zendewa plays Tashi Donaldson, and then there will be a slide, of course, with all the other supporting actresses, etc., etc. From a review that I read on this movie, everything is cranked up to a fever pitch in Challenges. The dialogue contains some of the most toxic, hurtful lines I've heard in a film. It's utterly, unrelentingly intense. You need to wind down after you see it. It comes back to you when you're rested. You might leave the movie feeling more highly strung than when you went in. It affects you considerably. Sexual tension on screen better than any this direction has been responsible in the past for Bones and all Suspiria and Call Me By Your Name, to mention a few. It's a tennis music with one of the most hardcore, complicated, emotionally invested love triangles I've ever seen. The film volleys back and forth through time, many times. We get title cards galore, 13 years earlier, then 2 years later, 3 days earlier, etc., etc., etc. Starts in 2006. Feist and O'Connor play Art and Patrick, lifelong best friends and tennis buddies. They are a team playing doubles. When watching another game in the tournament, they set their sights on Tashi, a hell of a player. They meet at a party, and after some persuasive talking, the three of them have an interesting night in the guy's hotel room. The movie actually begins in 2019 when Tashi and Art are married with a young daughter. The daughter asks her mother, Zendaya, "Mummy, can I watch Spider-Verse?" We don't see much of the girl, much less a semblance of a relationship with her parents. She spends most of her time pawned off to Art's mother. I was going to criticise this as a mistake or a lack of development. She seemed to only be there to signify that they started a family, but they are in their heads so much about the game winning, and furthermore their careers, that perhaps what we see says it all. A knee injury on the court has prevented Tasha from playing anymore, so now she coaches Art, who had a rough season. Patrick came back into the mix as a player in the latest tournament. The movie takes us all over the place. First of all, the ebbs and flow of the friendships and relationships between these three people. Tasha in particular often doesn't seem like a nice person. When either man says "I love you," the best response she gives is "I know." Overall, I was glad I wasn't them, didn't know them, and didn't have them there. Perceived problems. That's not to say I wasn't absolutely riveted and captivated by challenges, because I was all in. Bruce Springsteen's Tunnel of Love, which appears in the middle of the movie, playing in the background in a scene at an Applebee's, says it best. It ought to be easy, ought to be simple enough. Man meets woman and they fall in love. But this house is haunted and the ride gets rough. It all comes down to a showdown on the court between Art and Patrick. Let's just say there is an enormous amount riding on it. Okay, I think we've got a gist of it. Let's get on with it. So, at the beginning then we're introduced to the two, husband and wife team. Patrick the player, Sasha his coach and wife. Briefly see their child, and the challenge, as I see it, is to get Patrick back in tip-top form with regard to his tennis, such that he can overcome an adversary called Art, who's a friend, and we get some time focusing on additional
What was there?
Oh, I'm home. Oh.
กินข้าว
I'm so sleepy.
อยู่หลับ
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
The changes in time are quite significant, but the thread between them is the intense rivalry between the two men, with them as adults, there being a woman's gaze that increases the intensity for the viewer. The side to this are issues like Donaldson's credit card doesn't work, he's got no money, he ends up sleeping in his car pre-night before playing his match in this Challengers tournament against his rival in the afternoon. Then we see them as a pair playing together, earlier winning their doubles crown, and the response to winning the final point is excessive, to say the least. This Donaldson kid is very, very excessive. The director managed to capture the mood succinctly. For example, the two lads are now in the stands and they start to drool over Tasha as she comes on court to play her match. She was a champion, of course, before the injury, and we get their vision desperately trying to follow the wind as it blows her tennis skirt up to expose her panty lining. To the sound of David Bowie, the pair post-match hit a party that's there for Tasha. She's of course a champion, she's in the media's eye. She's been promoted high, right, left and centre, is constantly in demand for photo shoots, time with the press, etc, etc. The two lads managed to grab some time with her. They're totally gazonked by her, but there's a sort of interest from her as well before she's swept away by her team to some photo event. But we get a taste of the world of, you know, sports, top class sports, the money, the glam, the image, the whole 10 yards really, and of course the sex. The three of them get together finally, first on the beach, and then she arrives at their room after they let her know where they will be at the next event. Dialogue between the three of them, remember we're talking about late teens, highly talented individuals at their sport, but just as motivated to get inside each other's pants. And the dialogue is fascinating. It's fascinating for to capture the intensity of the questioning, the no strings attached answers. Let's get down to the point. You
Tashi, that's right. She asked, do you often go after the same girl? You know, it's as a 71-year-old, it's very refreshing. This sort of script. We're not getting bogged down in sort of moralistic jargon, so to speak. There's a sort of a point where it goes silent, but the body language is such that there's a hint that she's asking, have they ever made a threesome with a girl and fucked her at the same time? Oh, well, that's my interpretation of it. And it's sort of sidestepped without being taken out of the equation, so to speak. So we get a sort of insight as to where Tasha might be coming here. Her curiosity, her excitement, her involvement in this trio, so to speak. 30 odd minutes into the film, we get a first sight of Tashi, who's not such a great person, but she's a bit of a bitch, really. Patrick's in a hotel chatting up some girl. He's hoping to get his leg over, and Tasha arrives, and she's clearly not in that really friendly mood that she was when she came to their room, and finds the fact that he's there as being somewhat uncomfortable, and she starts to Q&A him. He initially catches her eye and is attracted, of course, leaves his date, and it becomes quite clear that Tasha is a control freak, and she only wants things on her own terms. She leaves really with Patrick feeling a little bit stunned at the get yourself sorted out, Patrick, get out quickly because you're in the way. We have various scenes where both the lads think that Tashi prefers them, and they're keeping their cards close to their chest a little, but each of them is offering sort of uncertainty into the scenario so that they don't become too blasé about she wants me rather than you. This is conversation takes place a few years earlier, maybe, as juniors. This is where this moving backwards and forwards in time, you start to get lost as to how they felt at a particular time in relation to another. The nature of this triangle of relationships dictates that there's going to be issues, confrontations. Post a confrontation with Patrick, it appears that Art has probably become the chosen one. Tashi does her knee whilst playing, and then we see the impact of an injury threatening her own career, and at her tender age, how she reacts in typically a very emotional way. And even though Art does his best to try and take care, she struggles. I think the acting is pretty good in this movie, particularly O'Connor, who we've seen in the Crown and Over You, another good movie he's in, and he strikes here as being the more experienced actor, but it's also a very sort of appealing tale. Why, I don't know. I think it's the emotional power that we see, and the reading between the lines type of observations of the characters over there at each other. The final section of this film is dominated by a final match between Art and forgot his name now. And anyway, and we've got Tasha in the middle of the court, trying to avoid moving her head from side to side, trying to be impartial, although she's asked Patrick to throw the match to help motivate Art, her husband, towards the last thrust for glory at the US Open, which will probably be the last opportunity in his career. And then we have this long, elongated sort of phase of tennis, and I really lost the plot, so to speak. I lost the interpretation of the film at that point. So maybe I'm gonna have to watch it again.